You want to see how to actually generate leads for the AI agency business model? Well, then this series is for you. I'm doing daily updates where every day I start with some YouTube comment Q&A, then I do growth stats across YouTube, Instagram, and products, and then I generate leads right now using cold email and then Upwork. I'm going to run you through everything that I'm doing. Today's schedule is we're going to add Sales Navigator and Vane.io audiences, take stock, do some cold email iteration, and set up a calendar for myself and start booking some sales meetings because I have a lot in the queue. My whole goal with this is to show you guys what an actual lead generation and sales process looks like for an automation agency, because I think a lot of people talk about this stuff, but they don't really do. So this is my main channel over here at almost 151K subs rather. This is the daily updates channel. I just start, as I mentioned, with Q&A. So I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom, answer some questions. You guys can also jump ahead to the actual build in public section if you want. Last question was from Sinatra Foreign, who says, talking about low ticket products, you need so much work in customer service than it is when you price a little bit higher ticket, unfortunately. Great comment. I agree 100%. The cheapest clients are usually the ones that are most difficult to work with. It is unfortunate because we do typically have to start with cheaper clients just in order to get us off the ground and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, the second that you knock out a few low ticket projects with your AI and automation company, you just want to scale it up and start only dealing with people that have money in their hands that are willing to spend it. And are suffering from like rich people problems, because rich people that suffer from rich people problems typically just want somebody to do everything for them, and they don't need to check in every 5 seconds in order to make sure that it is being done. Colin says, for your method of sell now, build later, how do you approach outreach for these systems? Though them obviously being built, you can do personalized lead videos, and obviously you don't have social proof as they aren't even built yet. Love the content. Thanks for the knowledge you provide. I think this whole like last 4 or 5 days of me doing the live lead gen hopefully answers that question for you. So I'm going to move ahead. But if you have any specifics on that, just let me know and I'll circle around and answer in the next batch. Based on your opinion, says J Mastern NY, I'm planning to take the biggest risk of my life. I can only join Maker School in late November due to academics. Do you think I can still earn well if I follow everything strictly? What's your honest view on AI automation saturation in tier 1 countries? This is still worth it in late 2025. From 1 to 10, how would you rate success chances in mid 2025, late 2025, and 2026? Or also considering taking a big risk by getting a bank loan just to join your community and invest $1,600 for 2 months into it. Wow. Well, first of all, if you're in a shaky financial position, I would not spend all that money on my community. So if you're in the position where you can't afford like $150 or whatever, $184 a month, as of the time of this recording, who knows what it's going to be later. But if you are in a position where you can't afford that amount of money, to be abundantly clear, I would make sure that you sort your finances out before you join Maker School. I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting kicked out of their house. I have some people that join every once in a while and they say, I need to make this work. If this doesn't work, I'm out. You know, I just lost my job. I have 2 kids and a dog. It's like, dude, I don't want that responsibility on myself. And you don't either. When you put that much pressure on yourself, you can't make long-term decisions that significantly improve the probability of success when you're focused on like taking care of your next meal. It is simply infeasible. While it's great fuel to have your back against the wall, while it's great like motivation, and while you can definitely get going, you will sacrifice your long-term results in pursuit of short-term gains, which will make all of this sort of impossible. Now, I say that as somebody that did that. I say that as somebody that had no money in the bank. I made $7 or something like $7. I keep saying $7. I don't know actually know how much money it was, but it was like under $10 in my first 3 months of door knocking. I say this as somebody that's lived in garages and, I had to rent really trashy living situation apartments where people were shooting up downstairs and stuff like that for like a big chunk of my life. And I come from a background where my family like legitimately filed for bankruptcy when I was growing up. So like I'm well aware of what it looks like to get into this sort of situation when you don't have the financial backing and means to do so. And I would not recommend it at all. So I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and say definitely join Maker School, everything will be amazing. No, man. Like, the question you got to answer is, can I continue doing what I'm doing today for like the next 365 days consistently? And if you don't have money in your pocket, odds are you're probably not going to be able to do that. I would not take the biggest risk of your life by joining Maker School. Not at all. I would do what you can right now with what you have. And when you're in a position where the pros outweigh the cons and you don't have crippling anxiety every time you think about parting with that money, then join. Okay? So you got to pick the sexiest solution, absolutely. Gaming Studio says, what do you think about cold calling with AI voice agents made with something like Vappy? Probably referring to the Vappy's new outbound calling feature. What are your thoughts on Google Maps leads versus something like Apollo leads for AI automation agencies? What do you think about cold calling with AI voice agents? I don't really think that would perform super well. I think you could probably still pick up that it's an AI voice agent. And the second that somebody realizes they're talking to a model and not a person, the probability that they'll want to continue that conversation or work with you is way down. So while I think like it's efficient, you don't use any salesperson hours in order to call a million people. That's cool. I don't think it's very effective, and I care more about the effectiveness, and I would encourage you to as well. What are your thoughts on Google Maps leads versus something like Apollo leads? I don't really think that I would go either or. I think they work for different purposes. So Google Maps leads are great for small businesses where you can't source them off of Apollo. I would definitely just go Apollo first. While you still can, you won't be able to drive meaningful results through Apollo for much longer, just given how many people are jumping in. So before all these leads get burned out, then definitely give it a try. And then if that doesn't work, then go to Google Maps. Love your video. Nick says, Ronnie, how do we deliver the end-to-end workflow to clients? Clients are not familiar with these, so how are they using the workflow? By that, I mean, do they self-host their account or pay monthly subscription for cloud? They pay monthly subscription for cloud. You actually get them to sign up. Next, how do you get their credential and API keys? You mentioned kickoff call. Do we get the API credential on the call and set it up for clients on their N8N account? In that case, does that mean we need access, or do we guide them? You need access, yeah. Well, you guide them to create the account, and then they just give you the account. That's the 80-20, because then they pay with their card. This has got to be my favorite daily update in a while. Brutally transparent, but at the end, always inspiring watching you kill it, man. Definitely excited for updates in Maker School too. The value just keeps going upward. Thank you. Yeah. Archie, thank you very much, Russ. Russ has provided me like an insane amount of value. He just sends me DMs every 4 or 5 days being like, hey, dude, have you thought about all this stuff that you could do for Maker School? And I'm like, my God. And then I just like take one and, it makes the entire community benefit. So I very much appreciate you, Russ. Archie says, love your stuff. When buying pre-warm domains for clients for signing up, do you buy them yourself or does the client buy? Same question for the client signing up for stuff like Instantly, etc. Do they include that in my fee or I mention it to them as a necessary add-on? Well, like, listen, you can do either or. I have experimented with both. In my experience, I have the wherewithal to get the clients to sign up now. If I was at the start line of my business and I didn't understand how to conceptualize the value and stuff like that, then maybe I would buy it myself and put some liability on me or something just to like get the ball rolling. But in my case, it's literally like, hey, we can start delivering results today. Here's how it works. So right after the kickoff call, we will have the system running. I've actually had situations in the past where I have gotten somebody to pay me and then the kickoff call's in 3 days or whatever. So I actually go and I buy a bunch of pre-warm domains and then I roll the campaign out so that by the time we're on the kickoff call, I'm like, okay, so we've generated 3 booked meetings. And they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, yeah, we generated 3 booked meetings. Here they are. So obviously that is extraordinarily powerful as a kickoff when you start working with somebody. But it's a question of liability here. I won't say there's one way or another to do it. Okay, hey Nick, a few questions for him. Self-hosting N8N right now for the agency use. Is it better to pay pro even though it has limitations? What do you personally do? Yeah, definitely go cloud hosted. It's just so much easier, man. Also, oAuth concerns, like one big issue for a lot of beginners that jump into automation without fully understanding how all this stuff works is like, if you just immediately dive into self-hosted, there's self-hosting concerns you have to start dealing with, which are DevOps and deployment concerns, which are honestly like way above most of our pay grades. Even my pay grade, like sometimes I get some self-hosted error and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to take me 3 hours to figure out. I just don't like dealing with that. And then oAuth, like when you sign in to a Google account for the very first time or something, if you're self-hosted, you got to do like a cloud console setup. You got to like get your client ID and client secrets. Mass pain in the ass. If you go cloud hosted, for the most part, you don't need to do that. It saves you a lot of time. Do you do voice agents in N8N? No, N8N doesn't have like a native feature for this, and I'm not gonna like build a whole voice agent. I use something like Vappy. Also, I'm thinking of pairing it for GHL for its CRM features. What are your thoughts on that? I think you could do that. Yeah, have some voice agent plus GHL. When a lead comes in, you call a webhook, which triggers some GHL flow that adds a new lead. Yeah, I think both are fine. Yeah, Alex Andrews says it's the coaching business, not the AI business being scaled. Listen closely. Well, I think my coaching business is an AI business right now, but I'm certainly scaling both. Let's just put it that way. I don't think it's mutually exclusive. And I don't really think you have to listen closely to it because I tell people that basically every time that they come on here and ask a question like this. Mitch says, hey, Nick, what are the most common objections you get in a call when you're selling hyper-personalized email lead gen? Just got one for EG, but it's not our domain. Wouldn't it look like a spoof email? Yeah, a little bit. I do understand that. That's a pretty common, like that, that's actually one that I receive every now and then. Well, what are they going to do if they pump it in? How do we book a meeting if we don't like add a calendar link? Or, okay, really the most common, what the most common one is? We can't offer that. What if we don't deliver? Because I always offer some sort of guarantee, right? So the best way to answer this is like, in practice, the way that offers work is they increase your top of funnel by 3 times And then the only thing that you have to pay out is usually like a 1 to 5% of your margin. So I just want you to like do this mathematically. If you can increase your conversion rate by 3x, aka close 3 times more deals, and then the cost of that is like a 5% decrease in your margin even. At the end of the day, if you do the math, you're making 285%. So, the mental calculus is you almost always want to offer some sort of guarantee. And it's like, are some people not going to want to run through that? And are some people going to ask you for a refund? Of course. But why would you qualify all of this ahead of time? Why not at least get the leads? You told me that your biggest issue right now is you have no lead flow in your business. You have staff at your back end that are just like wasting time, and they're not motivated, and they're likely to leave, and they're not upskilling. They're, currently you're pissing away your payroll expense. Like, why don't we solve that problem when we get to it, as opposed to right now? So also a big thing is like, well, like, listen, like just to be frank, if you had a really good lead generation system right now, would you be in the position that you're in as of this moment in time where you're, considering working with me to do this for you? Like, if we're being honest, no, you wouldn't, right? You have some issue with this. If you keep on doing the same things that you've always done, you're going to keep on getting the same results that you've always gotten. So treat this as an experiment. Try something new. If it works, fantastic. If not, I'm putting my money where my mouth is by offering you a guarantee. And so you're not going to be out anything. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Does this make sense? I'm not going to push you to make a decision that you don't feel comfortable with, but you asked me, so here's the answer. So yeah, I get stuff like that reasonably often. I won't say I get stuff like this super often anymore. I got stuff like this a lot more often when I was selling totally cold. So maybe I'll get stuff like this on these sales calls that I'm going to be doing for us. Who knows? Okay, one more from Alex. He says, hey, I have a question. I'd like to know more about how you deliver AI agents. In what form, like SaaS, or do you just sell the workflow to the customer? Don't they find it hard to know what they have to do with it? No, I don't just sell the workflows. When you sell workflows, you just become like a commodity provider, basically. No need to do this. And if you sell that in SaaS form, how do you do it and how do you price it, please? Thanks. It may be useful to create the video about this whole how to deliver AI automations, because I can't find a video out about it. I think anybody thinks it's the easy part, but I struggle to understand that part. Yeah, for sure. I have actually recorded multiple videos on this. So just type in Nick Saraev and like manage an AI project or deliver or something like that. And you'll just get like, yeah, there you go. My step-by-step AI automation agency delivery process, and then how to manage an automation project. Like, this is a very common question, and I get it all the time. So I have obviously created like a dedicated resource for that. So I'll point you towards those two. I'm not going to give you the links. That way you got to Google Nick Saraev and then bump me up a little bit more in the search results. Jim Johnson says, why would you teach people how to be competitors in your business niche, though? It doesn't make sense. Listen, Jim, like everybody thinks that I'm doing this altruistically, and they're like, Nick, why do you teach people all about this stuff? Well, I have a goal here. The goal is to like maximize my distribution, get as many people to follow me as humanly possible, and then trust me as like a source for AI automation, but also just general business knowledge, right? So it's not like I'm doing this for free. I'm not like doing this with no goals or end in mind. I'm making a ton of money off this. I'm making like top 1%. I'm by income, I'm one of the richest people in my country right now. By income, not by net worth. So it's not like I'm teaching people how to be competitors in my own business niche because I want to just tell everybody the secret, and I'm just like, like I'm just like Jesus 2.0, like whatever, turning water into wine for the people. Well, obviously I like helping people. I'm obviously making a ton of money while doing it too. So max transparency. If you wanted to like talk about this a little more philosophically though, when you provide value to people in this way, it raises the floor for value everywhere else. Because by me providing this level of value, I'm not just providing knowledge, because knowledge is not the bottleneck for most people anyway. Most people understand how to do this. I'm providing like action. And when you have this many people that are flooding into a market, and not just flooding into a market, but learning a technology that is so inherently high leverage, you are increasing the floor of business like worldwide to some degree. Now, do I think I'm doing it like really significantly? No. But like, there's probably at some point over the course of the next like 50 years or whatever, I think you'll realistically be able to look back and be like, wow, like Nick accelerated the transition to a more efficient economy by 0.03%. And I'll be like, yeah, I did. And you know what? Like as a result, world GDPs went up. I don't know, some tiny little bit. Like I actually helped people, because of that, I got a bunch of people out of poverty. Like, if you think about it in that way, from a philosophical perspective, I would always rather just give everybody the sauce no matter what. There's no real reason not to, unless you're still stuck in this very scarcity-based mindset. So I have not been in a scarcity-based mindset for a while, knowing to the successes of first couple of not first couple, but like most recent few agencies that I've run. So it doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm not like a billionaire. I'm not like, yeah, like I'm still small enough in all of these respects that it won't really matter to me. I'm still going to be able to carve out, the amount of money that I'm making in my own little corner of the market, my own little niche. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, Matthew has like a specific question about his course. Let me just jump in over here. What's going on, big dog? 4-hour copywriting course, no ads. Shows it looks like 3 hours, 56 minutes, and 10 seconds in. I'm sorry. Let me just open this. One sec. I've turned off ads for this video. Oh, nice. This is cool. I mean, dude, like your setup looks fantastic. I don't understand. When I shoot using the setup of OBS plus HDMI, I don't get a great look. This looks good to me. You're shooting in 1080, or you're uploading a file on 1080. Your focus is right on the tip of your nose now. So like your eyes won't look as focused. I'd maybe like zoom it back a little bit so that it's like where your eyes are, not like if you're doing a manual focus, where your eyes are. How do I get footage looking crisp? I just hit record on stream and I've troubleshooted a lot. Okay, well, let's actually like jump in now. I don't know, man. I think the footage looks crisp. I think an issue for you is you just don't have anything like in the background to bokeh blur out. And keep in mind, like my setup is not good right now. Look how orange I look. I'm like Cheeto. Yeah. So yeah, I think your setup is fine. I think if you had some stuff in the background, you'd like see all that sexy bokeh blur, and I think you just don't right now. And that's probably what you're worried about. I don't see anything here that I think you can realistically make that much better. And yeah, Matthew, I mean, this is pretty cool, man. Nice work, dude. Nice work. I think that's all I really have to say about that. Okay, thank you very much, Harshit, for the hearts. Thank you very much here, Tekale. Thank you very much for that. Let us now just jump over and do what I got to do on the docket. So what am I doing today? Let's scroll down here. Adding sales nav plus Vane.io audiences, taking stock and iterating cold email campaigns, setting up Calbook and sales meetings. So let's start with the very first. These are the campaigns that I was running. I'm 87% of the way done the first. I don't know why it says I'm 0% of the way done the second and 1% of the way done the third. Oh yeah, right, because I uploaded massive audiences for these. I should note that the numbers here are actually really good. So I sent this morning, like literally right before I recorded this video, we're talking like less than like an hour before. Let's refresh this. One sec. Instantly it's being annoying. Okay. You guys ever like click enter and like as you click enter, then the thing gets fixed? Okay. Anyway, 455 emails, right? So 715 minus 455. Check this out. 260. So actually my stats here are on 260 emails. I got 5 replies, which is a 2.5% reply rate, I think. Right? Yes? I don't know. Maybe. Why can't I do that math in my head? Okay, so about a 0.2 or about a 2% reply rate. Numbers here are even better for the podcasters. It's like 2.5 to 3%. Looking like most of these are opportunities, which is really cool. So listen, what I'm seeing here is, and this is why I always recommend don't do the retrospectives immediately with cold email. You have to give people some time to reply. What I'm seeing here is this and this are like significantly higher performing campaigns than this. I guess that kind of makes sense because I already inherently did some copy iteration. But yeah, these are pretty cool, and I've already generated like another 7 here. This one is up to 15. I haven't received any new opportunities since 24 hours ago. And then I paused these 3. I paused all 3 of these this morning immediately after sending because I just wanted to stop them there and then have some results roll in. So that's pretty cool. What I'm going to do though is I want to duplicate all these and I want to run the exact same messaging, but then I want to do so with Vane.io. So what is Vane.io? We're just going to go over here, log into my dashboard, my account. Basically what I have, wait, are you serious? Oh, that sucks. I'm not actually done scraping the podcaster campaign. Well, that blows. Okay, well, I have the videography campaign. That's fine, but it doesn't look like I have the podcaster campaign. So I'm just going to download all the leads. Now I'm going to go sheets.new. And then I'm just going to import the file that I just downloaded a second ago. It's pretty chunky. It's pretty big. 11 megabytes, right? We got a lot of data off these guys, so. I'm going to feed this puppy in. Now let's just see if we just hold all else equal, whether Vane.io leads are higher performing compared to the other leads that I had. Just going to pen these to current sheet. It's going to take a hot second here. I got to jump on a podcast in like 20 minutes. This isn't going to be one of those long days. Some of these are going to have emails, not a lot. Looks like 190 out of 5,000. Cool thing that they have is the summary. These now have summaries. Look how many of these have summaries. This is fantastic data because you get to use this to like really personalize the hell of a campaign, because this is written in the person's own tone of voice. So what we're doing is we're going to sell them based off their tone of voice. And I'm not actually going to do that for their campaign right now, because I don't want to compare the personalization. I just want to compare the lead quality. So I'm really trying to isolate a variable. But yeah, let's look at all this data. We get all like good data here. It's pretty sick. Okay, so what am I going to do next? I'm just going to call this something like I don't know, like Vane.io videography export. I'm going to go into my tool, any mail finder here, dig any mail finder. And what I'm going to do is I'll bulk search. So I got a bunch of leads here that I have 247,000 credits. I'm then going to go new bulk. And I'll go, person name. Yeah, I guess we got to go person name here. Then I'm going to then take this CSV, which I already downloaded. I don't need to download it again. I'm just going to drag it in. And then what we want, oh, you know what? Sorry. I got to filter out the leads that don't have corporate websites, I guess. Well, maybe I don't actually. Okay, first name, last name, that looks good. We need company names here, company websites here. Okay. And that should be good, because even for ones that don't have the company websites, like, you know, a couple of these, we should be able to get the company, the people at those companies. We'll call this Vane.io videography export, and I'm going to process this. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to pump all this. This is probably going to take a while. I mean, like, it's going to take a second to do the order, but okay. Just the reason why I'm mousing over this is because I don't think this updates automatically. I think you got to like redo it like this. Yeah. Looks like it's going to process 20 at a time. That kind of sucks. It's probably going to take way too long. I'm not actually going to be able to see it directly inside of this. We're not going to be able to see it in this video, but numbers are looking pretty good here. We have 40 valid to 2 risky. Vane.io data is already looking like incredible compared to the Apollo data. Yeah. So 63 to 33, 63 are valid, 4 are deemed risky. I'm just going to add the risky regardless. So 67 to 33, 67 plus 33 is equal to 100. 67 divided by 100 means an enrichment rate of 67%. That's pretty sexy. That is very, very sexy. Yeah, we're already on 100 leads, so not bad if I do say so myself. While that's running, let's take stock and iterate some of these cold campaigns, okay? So website audience is here. Let's go sequences. This is not performing that well, to be clear. We're now at, if I subtract the 400 or whatever that I've sent, 13 positive opportunities or 15 positive opportunities and like 5,000 emails, right? So 15 divided by 5,000 times 100 is a 0.3% positive reply rate. I consider this one here to be kind of like, these are like okay results. Like, keep in mind, I'm going to be able to convert probably like half of these to meetings. Well, I probably won't be able to now because I sent a bunch of emails back to these people like 2 days after they replied to me. So like, I'm not going to get this meeting booking rate. But like when I run it and I like reply immediately, 50% meeting rate. So that's like a booking rate of 0.15%. What that basically means is I send, I think 700 emails and then I get 1 booking. I think that's what 5%. If I go 100 divided by 0.15, yeah, 666 demonic, spoopy number here. But if I send 666 emails, then I get a meeting booked. And then my daily volume right now is hypothetically 1,950, which allows me to book theoretically like 3. So I can book 3 meetings a day right now with the system. 3 meetings a day with a show up rate of, let's say 2/3 is 66%. So 2 meetings a day, 2 meetings times 25, that's 50 meetings a month. So my capacity right now is 50 meetings a month. And let's say I just close like, I don't know, like 10% of them. Let's just be really, very, very low here for something that's like, I don't know, let's just say 2.5K offer. That's still 12.5K in new rev, not accounting for everything that I'm doing. So 12.5K in new rev for like an outbound cost for this lead stuff of like about $1,000 a month is pretty good, right? Like my acquisition cost here is now 1/12 or 8.3%. And then I'm spending a bunch of my own time doing the sales and the iteration, obviously, so it's not like super profitable. But I think most people could see like you could totally scale this shit up, no problem. But yeah, this isn't performing like that well, honestly. I've had campaigns that have like multiple percentage points positive reply rate, so I'm kind of curious what's going on. Like, why isn't this performing that well? What is the major issue? We would say. Is it because I'm tracking open still? No, I think I turned off the open tracking, right? It looks like we're just shuttling everything to A. I don't. Oh, sorry, I lied. It's 3,000 emails plus 20. Oh, my bad. It's only 3,000 started. Okay. That makes more sense. 3,000 started. 15 opportunities out of 3,000 is a 0.5% positive reply. That's actually not that bad. But there's something about like when I add new variants here, they don't seem to be sending. So do I just have to duplicate this campaign, run it again with my new variants? I think I might have to. Because like this just, I don't know, is it an instantly bug? Because I wrote these new variants like a few days ago. 26,004, 477 makes 382. Yeah. So no, I just think I'm probably not like actually doing this. So why don't I go to leads here? Let's filter out these leads. Filter all the ones that are completed, I think. Maybe not completed. How do we do this? Not yet contacted? How many of these do we have that are not yet contacted? Not yet contacted or skipped. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to duplicate this. I'll say D1 website agencies, and then I'm going to go duplicate. Split test. Split test because of bug. Then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to move all these to another campaign. Split test because of bug. I haven't contacted these, so I can now just move these over. It's going to take a few minutes because they have to download them all and then upload them again after. Let's see how many leads I have in here now. Oh, it's only 151. Oh, geez. So I'm actually out of like website agency leads. That's really annoying. Well, whatever. We should probably run it regardless, right? It's all the copy duplicated and stuff. If I preview this, is that all right? Cheers, nothing. Is there nothing that's being sent at the end of this? Sending account name is fine. How about this one? This one's fine. How about this one? Oh, yeah, it is fine. All right. Let's resume this on these 151 and let's just see what happens. Because I did a bunch of split testing here, to be clear, a few days ago. It just doesn't look like they've sent. So I'm not just going to like, bang my head against the wall and do it all over again for no reason, right? And I also have a bunch of these variants here. So let's just take a peek at the analytics and see what we got. So looks like the vast majority are being sent to D. Why are they being sent to D? Looks like they're just immediately shuttling all the leads like intelligently. I don't really like this option of automatically doing this. I'm just not going to automatically do this, I don't think. I'm just going to allow my my system to round robin the emails because I want to have full control over the sending. It's just hard for me to like really tell what's working and what's not if instantly has their intelligence that's going immediately off a reply rate. Because like, let's be real, you can't actually make a decision on whether your campaign is working or not at like 44 cent emails, right? It's just BS, to be honest. So we're just going to save all these and then send. Did I do that with the podcast campaign? Sorry, let me just double check this. Yeah, okay, we did. Cool. So we've now done our improvements. What I'm going to do is I'll leave this running and then I'll just run these two simultaneously. So now we have these three. I should be able to compare the results of this. I mean, it's 151 emails. It's not like I'm going to win an award or anything, but for my statistical significance, let me just tag this too as daily updates for my own sanity. And then cool, we now have this, that, and that. All right. So if I go back here, we're testing the sales nav. That's good. I need to set up a calendar. I need to start booking some sales meetings because I've gotten back to a bunch of people, but it's really annoying to juggle them without a calendar. And As nice as it would be for me to like maximize the conversion rate on all of them, I am doing quite a bit with the rest of my life, and I can't actually just have those notifs come in and like have me, oh, are you free at 2:30 p.m.? And then at like 1:30 they say yes, and then this has happened a couple times. At 1:30 they say yes, and then I'm like, busy in the middle of a client call or something. So I'm probably going to have to decrease the efficiency or effectiveness relative to what like you guys would be able to do, because you guys would be able to make it your whole life, but still, whatever, it doesn't matter. So what am I going to do? Cal.com. So I'm going to use. Let's go. Just because I've revealed some personal stuff here, I'm just going to dial this back. Just double check there's nothing crazy personal on this page first. Is there anything crazy personal on this page? No. Okay, cool. We can share. So what I want is I want to set up a new meeting. It'll be with Nick Saraev. What should we call it? We should call it, let's just call it 1-1. 1-1. Let's just call it Systems with Nick. That looks good. Hey, brief chat about systems. Hey, thanks for making it. Jumping on my calendar. This is a brief chat. My calendar, this is a brief, and then I can use this to book people in as well, which is nice. I think we should probably do 50, can I do 16 minutes? Oh yeah, I can. Let's just book them in 30 minutes. This is a brief chat. Brief chat. Absolutely no string. This is a brief intro chat. Absolutely no strings. By the end of the call, you'll have, at minimum, a roadmap in your hands that you can do whatever you want with. And potentially this brief intro chat about the offer. Absolutely no strings here. Here, just think there's some value in us connecting. I'll make sure that by the end of the call, roadmap in your hands, you can do whatever you want. You need to do this yourself. To chat about the offer. Absolutely no strings here. Just think there's some value in us connecting. By the end of the call, which I'll stop at exactly 30 minutes, which ends exactly 30 minutes in, you'll have at minimum everything you need to do this yourself. We can book a follow up if necessary. Okay, that sounds good. Now they know that there's no strings attached to this. There's no nothing. We're going to use Google Meet for this. Availability. Yeah, my calendar. Oh, this is a terrible calendar now. How am I going to do this? I need to create new working hours. And I need to connect this with my other calendar. If I don't, then this won't really work, right? How often can I be booked? I need to book 1 day in advance if I'm going to be doing this, because let's just do like 16 hours. That makes more sense. No buffer. Limit booking frequency. Only show the first slot of each day. Limit total booking duration. Booker active. Limit future bookings. Yeah, we should definitely limit future bookings. You can't book more than like 7 days in advance. Always book within 7 days. Okay, that's my main calendar. This is the event name. Let's say scheduler. Nick 1-1. Systems chat. Now it'll have their name and it'll say X Nick. I think we want to just make sure that like it's the, okay, anyway, we'll allow them. So what do I need from them? Name, email address, no phone number, nothing. 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 They're literally just going to book. That's it. Mm. Do I want people to cancel? Yeah, no rescheduling for sure. No cancellation. Screw it. Paid plan Cal Video. Interesting. If I use Cal Video, which is their own booking platform, I can send a transcription email. I don't think I'm going to do that. Requires booker email verification. Hide notes in calendar. Hide calendar. Private links. Offer seats. Okay. That looks good to me. No recurring. Apps. I need to set up some infrastructure to deal with these outbound inquiries again. It's been forever. No Stripe. Cool. Workflows. I should probably add some follow-up reminders. Let's see. What was this 2-hour call reminder? I feel like I made this for a make money with Meg question. Let's make this seem more human written. We'll be on the Google Meet link from the calendar event a minute early, just in case. Thanks. Nick sent from my iPhone. That looks reasonable. Okay. They added a new action. Send email, attendees, SMS. Cool. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. They added some new actions feature. I don't want to say cal.com. It needs to say Nick Saraev. Cool. All right. We'll just turn that on now. So we'll have the 2-hour call reminder back. Well, we want it on my thing, right? Okay. Turn on. Wonderful. Webhooks. That looks fine. Okay, cool. So now I have a calendar. Let's just copy a link to this. By the way, anybody here that books my, anybody here that books this is just getting instantly blocked. No hard feelings, I hope. But yeah, I just cannot tackle too many of these. Nick Saraev, they're going to know. Oh, okay. Maybe I should say left click. Okay, anyway, we're going to split test this. Let's just get up and running, not worry too much about the specifics, trying to debias the potential issues that could happen and just like go up. But yeah, maybe I should actually say left click instead of Nick Saraev here because I am doing the pre-warmed mailboxes, meaning I'm sending with different names. So it's going to be like Samantha, and then she's going to send over a Nick Saraev link, right? It's kind of, will seem kind of weird. If it's just left click, then we show up on the call and they're just going to deal with it because it's me. Probably makes more sense. We'll see what happens there. So what I have to do now is I have to set my calendar, my availability, right? I'm just going to move this over here and I'm going to set my availability in such a way that I am available when I need to be. So instead of working hours, let's create a new calendar here. And let's just call it outbound hours. Outbound, left click, sales. Maybe left click, sales meeting hours. That makes more sense. So Monday, let's do 10. Let's do this from 10. Let's do that from 10. Let's do these from 11. Let's do these from 11. Let's now do this until 4. Let's do this until 5. We'll do this until 4:30. We'll go 4:30 and then 4:30. Going to save this now. Okay, we should be good. So I'm going to head over back to my initial event here for the specific booking that I want. And then I'm just going to update the Then I'm going to update the availability here. We'll call it 8 sales meeting hours. Cool. We can now save this. And that looks good to me. Cool. We now have a meeting. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So now we have that. Let's head over to any mail finder. How far are we done with these? So it looks like 60% to 31.5%. So about 70% again. So 67 was actually like really, really on par for this. Cool. Well, I mean, like the fortunate parts about these email verification steps is they just take time. Regardless, that's my alarm. I got to head out because I got a podcast coming up. But yeah, I think we made some solid progress today. Just wanted to loop you guys in on where I'm at with the agency building, with obviously the cal.com stuff. These are minor, like little technical steps. You set them up once and they're just set up. But basically, to be clear, I had calculated my internal hourly rate the other day. It was like $2,500 an hour. And for that reason, I have not left my calendars very open. Just put it that way. But I think that the short-term ROI of these deals are obviously going to be significantly lower than $2,500 an hour. They'll probably get me down to like $300 an hour or something. But the long-term value of these deals with the added authenticity will probably help me continuously increase that hourly rate even more. So we'll see where I land. But anyway, now that I have this booking thing, I'm just going to book everybody on that calendar, and then I'll book them within my available time range. And then, yeah, what do I have to do next? I mean, I haven't had like an outbound sales call like this in quite a while. So I'm just going to brush up a little bit on like my little BS wisp. I'm going to brush up on, because most of my sales calls now are inbound, right? And let me tell you, there's a very different vibe when it's inbound. That's one of the main reasons I actually got started with this stuff. When it's outbound, it's like, hey, here's this really cool thing I have for you. You should absolutely do it. And I'm going to spend the next like 30 minutes convincing you as to why you need it. With an inbound, it's like, hey, Nick, we absolutely love you and we want to give you money. What's the best way for us to give you money? So obviously the funnel type is a little bit different. The questions you get asked are going to be a little bit different, but whatever. I'm pretty stoked because you guys see with the Upwork apps, like I love just getting back into the game. Speaking of which, I can do Upwork apps today, but rest assured that I think it's a big chunk of momentum. I'll double check the stats and I'll update the sheet and stuff like that. Thank you guys very much for making it onto another daily update, and I will see all y'all tomorrow.